You're now watching a clip from the Inspired by show. You can watch the full episode on our YouTube channel or listen on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. So make sure to head over there, leave us a 5-star rating if you enjoyed it, and follow the show.
You've just turned 40. And then what happened which made you start losing your hair and to where you are now?
I don't know what made my hair fall out kind of when it did. My dad's got alopecia. My dad's completely bald. He lost his hair in his early 20s. And I know there can be a kind of hereditary factor there. And doctors all kind of say stress, but I think that's sort of a catch-all for meaning I haven't got a clue. And there'd been a lot that went on that year. I had finished my postgraduate diploma in coaching and started a coaching business and got married and turned 40, and then all my hair fell out. So it was a lot. It was a lot happened. But that's not to say it was like the most stressful year of my life. I've been through a lot bigger stresses than that. So I'm not sure what caused it. But it was a real shock to kind of, I literally found my first bald patch while I was getting ready for my 40th birthday party. And that was in the October, and by Christmas, I had pretty much no hair left at all. So it was all really, really sudden.
Wow. And what was going through your mind then? So, you're getting ready for your 40th birthday and you find this bald patch. Like, what were you thinking?
It was, I suppose probably the biggest feeling at that moment was kind of fear. Just that sense of, I don't know what this is. I don't know what's happening. There was the real immediacy of it. I'm about to go out with my girlfriends for my birthday and look, there's a bald patch. What the hell do I do? So it was, I think I went into that, I've got to get through this evening. And I know I kind of did it by putting my hair in a ponytail so I could kind of brush the front bit back over where the bald patch was. But then it was coming out so quickly after that. It was just terrifying because it felt so out of control. And I think for most of us, when we're low in confidence or when we're feeling scared, it's because we're in a situation that is just happening to us without us having any kind of control over it or any ability to kind of influence what's going on. And we just got to sit there as a passenger in this ride and wait and see where it takes you. So I had no idea where it was going to stop and if it was going to stop falling out and if it was going to grow back. And that sense of being in freefall and the absolute fear of I have no idea what's happening to me right now and what is about to happen to me. Was really, really scary.
And so fast as well, right? And this probably wasn't the top priority, but I'm just thinking, it's Christmas, like you said, almost all your hair had gone at that point. What were people around you saying? Like, were they asking questions? How were they around you?
I'm really, really thankful that my hair fell out in winter because it meant that every time I left the house, I could put a hat on and nobody questioned it. And so outside the house, the big thing for me in those days, my kids were in primary school. So it was kind of the school pickup, the playground, the other mums, the gossiping. That was probably one of the most immediate fears for me. So I'd put the hat on and not tell anyone. And really the only people at first who were allowed to kind of see my head and what was happening on it were my husband and kids. But gradually I couldn't hide it. And my lovely Nana bought me a really good quality wig that I went and found one that was the closest I could find to my natural hair. But it was still pretty obvious that it wasn't my hair. And I guess one of the big turning points for me was this realization that the fear for me was coming from two different things. One was that my hair was falling out and I couldn't stop it. And one was the fear that people would realize my hair was falling out and realize I was wearing a wig. And that one, I saw I could do something about it by revealing it for myself, by telling the world, this is what's happening to me. And then I didn't have to be scared that someone would notice it was a wig because I'd already said it was. So I did it by and taking a bald selfie and sharing it on Facebook. And that was kind of how I came out to the world as a bald girl. which is one of the scariest things I've ever done.
Oh my God. I'm just thinking the exact same thing. Like, that is another level of just, people say fight, flight, and freeze. You either hide from it or you rise to it. And I couldn't imagine a better way of rising to it.
Yeah. I mean, it was, even though it was a terrifying thing, and I look back now and realise it was a brave thing to do, it also felt like just an act of survival. It was the quickest and easiest way to remove the fear that people would realise that I was wearing a wig. So it was like, right, if I just do this, rip the plaster off, show them what I actually look like, and then that fear, it's just gone. There's no, there's no working my way through it. It's just gone. So it felt logically like a really simple solution. Didn't feel simple as my fingers hovering over the post button.
Wow. And what was the reaction? What were you like? Were you sort of like, put the phone away and I'll look at it in an hour and deal with whatever comes back? Or were you sort of like waiting for the comments to come in?
Funny enough, this is kind of one of the stories that I talk about when I'm sort of coaching about how we can bring ourselves confidence by kind of thinking about what are these things we can do, but also what can we do to kind of minimise how scary something feels. And so one of the things I did there was to tell a couple of really close friends beforehand, I'm about to do this, I'm terrified, please can you be ready to like just comment or something, so it's not just out there in cyberspace. So I'd set that up already. So very quickly there were friends clearly saying lovely things about loving me and me being beautiful and all of those things. But it probably won't surprise you to know that everyone else very quickly jumped on with just so much love and support and kindness. And I think it's interesting because at that time I still hadn't really made peace with how I looked and what was going on for me. There wasn't much that anyone could say to me that was what I needed to hear. So all of the well-meaning comments, and I look back now and see how lovely they were, pretty much all of them pissed me off. So even though it was like, oh great, this is really nice, everyone's being nice, like, why are they saying that? I was really annoyed.
Yeah. Do you know what? That was actually something that was going through my mind just as you said that, because for me, I often feel like, yes, sometimes it's nice to get love, like whether it's like going through something as significant to your life as that, whether it's, going through, for me, it was when I had severe clinical depression and I started getting back into the world and everyone was so loving and kind, but it was like, I didn't really care. Like, it was like they weren't being absorbed by me. And I was kind of curious to see how and when you actually started to feel that love, or was it like you shared there where you're like, okay, thanks, but really deep down, I'm still not quite ready for this.
Yeah, I mean, I think that probably one of the most common things that people said to me was either telling me that I look great, or quite a common one was along the lines of, but at least you've got a beautiful face. And it was meant really, really kindly. And I knew even then when it was winding me up that it was meant kindly. But it made me, like, I was saying to them at home, I'd say, oh, what? So if I was ugly, then it would be bad that my hair had fallen out? Like, why are they saying that? And I was very, very angry. And I think for me now, I can see that it was more underpinned by me just absolutely not recognising that or feeling beautiful in any way. So it almost felt patronising and like it wasn't genuine, that they were just kind of saying it because I thought that was the right thing to say, rather than me allowing myself to actually believe that that's what anyone thought.